Oh, hey, what's up? Welcome to the Oh, Hey, It's Ray show. Given the state of the economy right now, a lot of people are wondering, can I get a mortgage pre-approval during a recession? While it is still possible to get one, it's worth finding out what a mortgage loan pre-approval is, why you need one, and just how hard it might be to get one during an overall downturn in the economy. First, I want to make it very clear. A mortgage pre-approval is not a loan. It's also not a promise to get a loan either. To put it a little bit more simply, a mortgage pre-approval is kind of like a pre-cursory screening. While performing this pre-screening, lenders will look at your monthly income, your debt-to-income ratio, and your house-to-income ratio to determine if you are eligible for a loan. If you pass their pre-screening methods, a lender will then issue you a pre-approval letter. All this letter says is that you've spoken to a lender who's run some rough numbers and estimated how much money you might be eligible to borrow. That's it. That's all there is. It's really important for you to know, though, that even though you get pre-approved for a mortgage, that's not a guarantee that you'll actually get a mortgage loan. In fact, you don't even know if you're going to get the loan until you've gone through the whole process, found a house, put in a purchase offer, gone through escrow, and signed the deal and closed. Anything can go wrong in between there. It's kind of scary, and you have to take it from me because I have experienced this with loans falling through due to lack of funding. It happens more than you know. But don't let that scare you because it's still worth all the trouble. It really is. And anyway, despite not being a formal proof of loan approval, pre-approval letters are required for most transactions anyway. There are several reasons for this. The first one, obviously, is so that you know how much loan you can afford. I mean, you don't want to go out there and start looking at $1 million homes if you can actually only afford a $300,000 home, right? The seller would be angry, you would be upset, the realtor would be upset, everybody would be upset. The deal would fall through and collapse. It just no good. So that's one of the first core uses of a pre-approval letter. The second is actually that pre-approval letters are a really good deterrent to fraud. You might be surprised just how many people will go up to realtors and saying, hey, we want to buy a house. Can you show us houses? And then the realtor shows them, 3, 6, 9, 10. I mean, people will do this for a week stringing these agents along. And then it turns out they were never going to buy a house anyways. They just wanted to go inside strangers' houses for fun. Or something that you see a lot of is you'll actually have criminals go into people's houses, getting access to houses that people still live in, and they will rummage through their stuff. They will steal jewelry. They'll steal checks. They'll steal anything that they can get their hands on. And I'm not just making this up. This happens all the time. I mean, back when I sold one of my houses, I had an open house. Now I knew the risks, so I made sure to take all of the most valuable things out of my house, and so I was ready there. But somebody literally stole a knife from my kitchen, which was kind of creepy. It happens more than you know. Anyway, so that is a big deterrent for those people that are up to no good. Those people that do that, people that want to just go because they act like it's fun or like a fun date, that's what open houses are for. Go to the open house. You don't want them stringing the agents along. You don't want them stringing the sellers along. It's just a waste of everybody's time, and it's potentially harmful to the sellers themselves. The third reason why it's a really good idea to have a pre-approval letter is that sellers' agents who work on behalf of the seller will often be asked to collect a pre-approval letter from any potential buyers when they get a purchase offer. This is to show, again, that when you're putting in an offer, you're being serious. Like you've already talked to a lender, you're ready to go, and this is more of a reality. This isn't just somebody coming up on a whim saying, oh, I want to buy your house. So as you can see, just based off of those three things alone, unless you're buying with all cash, a pre-approval letter is an absolute necessity. So while governing bodies haven't actually slapped the recession label onto our economy yet, it's still a little bit up for debate, but we are in a technical recession. The traditional definition of a recession is that we have a negative GDP for 2 quarters. Our economy has shrunk for 2 quarters in a row. And if you don't know, 2 quarters is about 6 months. This recession that we are in was actually caused by the Federal Reserve trying to stop inflation because we've had ridiculously high inflation, and I'm sure that you've heard all about that in the news, on the TV, you name it. Unfortunately, the actions the Fed took to tamp down on that inflation have far-reaching effects on yours and everyone else's ability to get a mortgage. So let's take a look at what happened. The Federal Reserve's number one tool to fight inflation is the federal funds rate. From here on out, I might call it the Fed rate. To fight inflation, the Federal Reserve raised the Fed rate, which had a direct effect on the 10-year Treasury bond rate. I know you may be wondering why this is even important, but I promise it is. It's really important. Mortgage interest rates are directly affected by the 10-year Treasury rate. All of this affects home price affordability and whether or not you or anybody else can get a mortgage. It might not seem like it at first, but mortgage interest rates and home prices are somewhat connected. I suppose I should add that if you're not familiar with what interest is, this is actually what lenders use to charge homeowners so that the lenders make a profit. They do this by charging a percentage rate of the remaining principal balance that's owed on the loan. In general, the higher the home price, the larger the loan. And the larger the loan, the bigger the payment you make on interest. For example, 3% on a $100,000 home is going to work out to be $3,000 annually. Lenders will usually divide that up by 12 months, but just remember $3,000 annually. And then if you were to have a $200,000 home and 3% of that would be $6,000. Larger the home price, larger the loan, larger the payment. So you can really see just how much the home price and the interest rate and the remaining balance of the loan really all work together to form your monthly payment. And it adds up quickly. As home prices and interest rates rise to near record levels, overall home affordability is actually dropping too. People who were eligible to get a mortgage 6 months ago are finding out now that they're not eligible at all and that they've been priced completely out of the market. This is because for every percentage point that mortgage interest rates go up, home buyers' price affordability goes down. And that makes the likelihood of being pre-approved for a mortgage less and less of a reality. When lenders calculate how much of a monthly payment you can afford, unfortunately, a lot of people are finding out they just can't afford anything at all. Don't worry though, because all hope is not lost. And honestly, relief might just be around the corner. Right now, we are actually just starting to see the beginning of a price correction in the real estate market nationwide. This means that because demand was so low, the inventory has just been building up and building up and building up. And home prices are going to have to come down before people start actually buying houses again. In fact, industry analysts expect some U.S. markets to see a 25% to 30% drop in home prices. Just know that this drop doesn't usually happen right away. It usually happens very, very slowly over time. Real estate tends to be slow when it comes to market adjustments. This is in part because sometimes it takes up to 30 to 60 days for transactions to close, and so we don't get that data to compare home sale prices to. And when sellers are trying to price their home to put on the market, they have to look at comparable data from previous sales in their neighborhood to price their home accurately. So all this really means is that time is on your side. Even though at this very moment you might not qualify for a mortgage, in 3 to 6 months or more, you might. By that time, home prices are likely to have come down a bit too. So that's a plus, right? It is possible, but this is not a guarantee by any means because I'm not psychic, but it is possible that interest rates could come down in that time too. So the best thing you can do right now is just assess your situation, and you might find that the best thing you can do is to wait it out and have patience. Until then, while you're waiting, it might be a really good idea to cut down on your spending so that you can save and save as much as possible. Put all that cash, just stockpile it into a high yield savings account and hang in there and wait till the time is right. If you do that, you might be able to take advantage of the situation when prices come down and potentially interest rates come down, and you'll be in a much better place with much better terms on your loan. So that's actually all that I have for you guys today, but I really hope that you learned something new, and I look forward to hearing from you. What's your guys' experience been so far? What path are you on in your home purchase journey, and what's your strategy? What are your plans? Let me know in the comments below, but until next time, I'll see you guys later.